Hi guys, welcome back to Politics Enhanced. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, and today we're going to talk about Donald Trump's easiest path to winning this election and getting 270 electoral votes. Because folks, a lot of people are saying that this election's over and that Donald Trump is going to lose in a historic landslide and that Kamala is going to win and take over in 2025. While I disagree with that, I do want to talk about not the polling, but just specifically the electoral math, how easy it would be for Donald Trump to win this election because it's in his favor. And as you can see on this map, I have filled in all the red states, the states that are going Republican by over 10 points, and the Democrat states, the states that are going to the Democrats by over 10 points. And I'm not going to fill in the margins because this isn't a prediction, but rather this is showing the mathematical possibilities that could let Trump win this election. So first of all, yes, this is the 2020 electoral map, and I haven't filled in North Carolina or Georgia, the Rust Belt, Arizona, Nevada, because those were the closest states last election. So the first thing I want to say is, right off the bat, I think Donald Trump is definitely going to win North Carolina for sure. And he needs to retain that state no matter what to win. He can't lose North Carolina. But I also think he's very likely going to flip back Georgia. And if he flips Georgia, that would give him back 251 electoral votes. Now, all he needs is one more state, and he can win just by winning Pennsylvania. And he's at 270. He doesn't need the rest of the Rust Belt. He doesn't need Arizona. He doesn't need Nevada. He doesn't need Wisconsin or Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, which is a crucial electoral vote, as you'll see later in this video. But as you can see, just with Pennsylvania and Georgia and his 2020 map, Trump wins right out the gate. But let's say that Donald Trump doesn't do so good in Georgia. Let's say he loses Georgia and he wins Pennsylvania and he wins Wisconsin, so he does good in the Rust Belt, and he flips Nevada. As you can see, Trump is already at 270 electoral votes, and he doesn't need Georgia, he doesn't need Michigan, and he doesn't need Arizona. And if he does good in the suburban areas, he could potentially flip back Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, which I think he would. So that would give him 271 electoral votes to Kamala's 267. So as you can see, Trump really doesn't need Arizona or Georgia, but he's got to do good in the Rust Belt, and he's got to win back Nevada. And personally, I think Nevada is going to be that state that flips back to Donald Trump and the Republicans. And it's 6 electoral votes, which isn't much, but it helps long term, and it helps electorally in getting to 270. But let's be hypothetical. Let's say that, Donald Trump doesn't do so good in the Rust Belt. Let's say he loses Wisconsin, he loses Michigan, and he loses Pennsylvania, but he takes back Georgia, he takes back Arizona, he wins Nevada. Well, we'd be one short. We'd be at 269. So the reason why I say this is it's very important. Trump's got to win at least one of the Rust Belt trio states if he's going to win the election. But there are more pathways to victory too. He doesn't need all of the Rust Belt. He doesn't need all of the Sun Belt. What he needs is Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona. And he doesn't need Nebraska's 2nd congressional district at that rate. And he'd have 272 electoral votes. Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona were the closest states in 2020. And if Trump had done better by just 50,000 votes, he would have won the election. I mean, he lost Georgia by the slimmest of margins. I think it was even slimmer than Michigan in 2016. Same goes for Arizona. So he's very likely to win those 2 states back in the Republican column, and he takes it and he wins by a lot. But let's say that Donald Trump doesn't do so good in Wisconsin or Pennsylvania. Let's say that those states go Democrat, and let's say that, miraculously, Trump wins Georgia, which he's likely to, and he wins Nevada, and he loses Arizona. That leaves us with the state of Michigan. In years past, Michigan has usually been the most liberal of the Rust Belt trio, but in this case, Donald Trump wins the election by winning Michigan, Georgia, and Nevada. So he doesn't need Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Arizona, which are crucial states. They're all very crucial. The math is there, folks. The math is there. Now, the other scenario, which I think is very unlikely, but let's say that, Trump doesn't do so good in the Sun Belt, and he loses Georgia, he loses Arizona, but he sweeps the Rust Belt, and he wins all 3 of the states that he won in 2016, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. He would win with 279 electoral votes. He doesn't even need Nevada, Arizona, or Georgia at that rate, and he wins. So that's how crucial the Rust Belt would be. And that's not including other states too. But this is, again, this is not a prediction, right? I'm not saying that Minnesota is going Democrat. I'm not saying Virginia is going to go the Democrats as well. I'm just showing what Biden won in 2020, the blue states and the red states, and then the swing states, and how the swing states will help Trump win the election. But there's one more scenario too. There's one more scenario, actually 2 more, but one more realistic scenario for Donald Trump and the Republicans. So he doesn't do good in the Sun Belt. He loses Arizona, he loses Georgia, he wins Nevada, and he wins Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. He's at 270 without winning or needing Arizona and Georgia. So that, I think, would also be one of the least likely. I don't see him losing Georgia. I don't see him losing Arizona either, but you never know, folks, these days. Now, here are some really wild predictions. So Donald Trump could lose Georgia, he could lose Arizona, and he could lose Nevada, but he could win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and be in a tie. Do you see how close it is? And that one electoral vote in Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, if that flips, he'd be at 270 without needing Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, or Nevada. He would win Michigan and Pennsylvania. The reason why I don't think that's likely to happen is because Pennsylvania, and really Michigan in particular, is the most liberal and left-leaning of the Rust Belt trio. But also, if you're winning Pennsylvania, you're winning Georgia. And if you're winning Georgia, you're probably winning Wisconsin, you're winning Nevada. I don't see a case where that happens, where Trump only wins Pennsylvania and Michigan. But he needs to hold on to North Carolina as well, just coming out the gate. I think the worst case scenario for Trump would be, well, he's obviously going to flip Georgia, he's going to flip Nevada, and let's say he also flips Wisconsin, and let's say he also flips Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. This is a likely plausible scenario, is that Trump does good in 3 of the states, Wisconsin, Georgia, Nevada, but he loses Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and the Democrats narrowly get a victory over Trump's 268. That would really be the worst case scenario for Trump and the Republicans. But there is another way that he can win electorally, and that would be through getting a tie in the Electoral College. If he doesn't do good in the Rust Belt, but he does good in the Sun Belt, it would be 269 to 269. It would go into the House of Representatives, and that would absolutely be a chaotic day, week, month in American history. And you would see a lot of protests, a lot of people not support that. I don't think that would be good for the country. It certainly would really divide us even further, but it's very likely that Trump loses Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, but that he wins Nevada, Arizona, or Georgia. But the way the country's going and the way states are trending, I doubt that that's going to happen. It's possible, and I do think it's one of the likely scenarios if Trump doesn't do so good. But overall, yeah, that would really be a disaster. But the worst combination would, again, just barely missing the mark and winning, Wisconsin, but then losing Arizona. Arizona's an important state to win, but as we've seen in my other predictions or models, if you will, you really don't need Arizona. You don't need Georgia. But if you lose the Sun Belt, you've got to do good in the Rust Belt, and then you can win back the election and get Trump 4 more years in the White House. But I figured I'd make this video just to showcase the electoral map, and we'll do more videos about, Trump in the polls and predictions. But in the meantime, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and until next time.